All right, so here is our plan for today. We are going to create this phone holder. So if we look at this, what happens is the phone will sit right here, and we have two parts. That if we were to look at these, we have that piece, and then they sit together. And here's our second piece. So again, they look like that, and then they fit together, and they make a nice stand for a phone or a book or whatever we want. And so we're going to create this. The way that we're going to do this is I'm going to start by making some parameters that are my dimensions, basically. So I'm going to go to modify, change parameters, and I start with my thickness. So I'm going to call that stock thickness. And I'm going to start at 0.75. Now, this is not going to be what we actually make because we're going to have to plane this wood to clean it up. And so it'll be less than that, but this gives us a starting point. And I hit OK. And then I want to have my length and my width. So I'm going to make another parameter, change parameter. I'm going to add my width. And I'm going to make the width 3. Actually, I'm going to go 3.5 because we're going to use a 1x8. So 3.5 should be fine. And that's good. Now let's go back, and this is a design drawing I had before. I know I have 7.25 and 9.5 as my values here. So what I'm going to do is go back to the one I was just working on, and I'm going to make some parameters for that. So I'm going to make a parameter, and I'm going to call this is small length, all one word, and that was 7 plus 1 divided by 4, 7.25. And then the other one was, I'm going to say long length, and that was 9.5 or 9 plus a half. Okay, so now I'm ready to start looking at this. So I'm going to start by making a sketch. I'm going to click the bottom plane here, and I'm going to create a rectangle. So I'm going to create a rectangle, just a corner rectangle. I'm not going to put it at the origin this time. And this is going to be the long side. So I'm going to call it long length and then tab width. And I hit finish sketch. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extrude that by the stock thickness. And I'm going to hit OK. And so there's my first one. There's my long length. If I look back at what this is going to be, I know this is up 3, and then we have a TBD here, but it goes to the middle. So I'm going to go back to my piece here, and I'm going to draw a sketch. So I'm going to hit create sketch on this surface here. And what I want to do is go down, and I'm going to create a rectangle. And what I want to do is I'm going to start, it doesn't matter where, I'm going to modify. I'm going to hover down here until I get that triangle. That's the midpoint. See, it brings up that blue line. And I'm going to go the stock thickness. And then this one, it's already set there, but if I change it, I want to go, this is the width divided by 2. There we go. And now what I want to do is I'm going to modify, or I'm going to hit a dimension. So let me close if I don't see it there. There's my dimension. And this was set to 3. All right, so I've drawn a sketch on top of my surface. I'm going to click that profile, and I'm going to extrude. And I have a couple, I can just pull it all the way through, but I'm just going to type in negative stock thickness so that it adjusts automatically. All right, I'm going to name this. So this is the long side, and that's going to go there. All right, I'm going to make another sketch. So I've done this first one, and now I'm going to try to make this back support. And I can see that I have here 1.25, and it's that long one. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to go in the same plane, and I'm going to make another rectangle. And this is again the this is the short. What's that? I called it small length by width. And I'm going to finish that sketch, and I'm going to extrude by the stock thickness. And there we go. All right, I'm going to make another sketch on top of this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. So hit the R button, go across. This is the stock thickness, and this is the width divided by 2. And then I'm going to dimension that. I believe I had it at 1 1/4. So 1.25. There we go. And what we're going to do is then extrude that to negative stock thickness. And that's a cut, so it takes it out. All right, so we have our two pieces. And what we can do is they're already kind of laid out, but I'm going to save this before I go any further. And I'm going to call this phone holder. And I'm going to name this one the short side. And I'm actually going to make these components. So I'm going to create a component, right click, create component, right click, create component. And I want to see how these are going to lay out on the wood that we have. So I'm going to create another sketch. And I'll sketch here. I'm going to make another rectangle. This is 7.5. That is my 1x8 width. And then we need at least 12 inches to be able to kind of plane it. So we go from there. All right, so I've created that. And now what I want to do is I want to arrange some things. So I go to Modify, Arrange, and I click on the following. So I click on the pieces, this one and that one, and I tell it which envelope I'm going to put them in there. And hopefully they're going to fit in there. There's the first one. Let's go back to my second one. And let's see. I want to change my frame width. Object spacing could be 1/8 of an inch because that's the curve for the blade. And then I don't need a frame width. And let's see if that'll get that to fit. There we go. All right, I had to select them both. So now I can see here from my piece of wood, if I have a 1x8, I have plenty of room to be able to pull these two pieces off. And we'll talk about laying that out in just a second. Okay, so now we have it laid out. I want to try to put these two together. So I'm going to create what's called a joint. So I'm going to assemble a joint. I'm going to zoom in on this one. And then I'm going to zoom in on this one. These are the 2 points that I'm going to line up. And I can see that it's just put them on top of each other. So what I want to do is I want to rotate that by 90 degrees. So there's my 90, and there we go. They've gone together. Now the actual orientation for our phone holder, it's a little bit hard for us to look at here. So I can think about how we're going to orient, but I know that they're going to fit, and then they will stand up with each other. What we're going to do next is we're going to save it. We're going to create our design. So I'm going to go to drawing, so I'm going to create our drawing. I'm going to do size A. I'm going to hit OK. And then what I'm going to do is bring across a couple of views. All right. I'm going to click top, and I'm going to go like 1 to 2. And I'm going to hit OK. I don't want these parts. I just want the arrangement. And I'm going to get rid of this. And so now what I can do is I can dimension this. So this is my phone holder. I know that this dimension from here to there is 7 1/4. This is 3 1/2. This is 3 1/2. This is 9 1/2. This dimension, 1 1/4. This dimension is 3. So it gives me enough information to do that. Now I'm going to actually pull this one to here. I have it as 0.75, but I don't actually know that to be true because we're going to plane this a little bit thinner. So I'm going to go in here, click in here, and as opposed to having it say 0.75, I'm just going to actually delete that. And I'm going to write TBD and hit enter. And so that will tell me that that piece really depends on the stock thickness. And so I can even add a leader to that. If I click that text and I click there, I'm going to say width dependent on final planar thickness. So I'm really clear to myself like what that's going to be. All right, if I wanted to move that around a little bit, there it is. And I could add another view if I wanted to. Let's say that we go here, maybe 1 to 5. and I'm going to click maybe my northeast isometric, and I hit OK. Well, maybe we'll make it shaded. Hit OK. And then I'm going to get rid of the arrange on this one. And I just have that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of text. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to make it 0.25, make it centered. And this is phone holder. And I hit close. So there we go. We have our dimensions. We're going to talk about how we're actually going to fabricate that. Let's save that. Let's hit save. And then we should be good.